When it comes to supplements, the formula is everything, right? Today we're diving into two products from Phosphoandro. Now at first glance, they might seem pretty similar, but they actually have completely different strategies. We're going to use their own product info to break down what makes them tick and, more importantly, what really sets them apart. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the one key compound that actually connects both supplements. Then, we'll put each product under the spotlight, Phosphopure first, then Andrographis Glico, to see how they take that one compound and use it in totally different ways. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the big takeaways.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning, with the foundation. There is one core ingredient that's the key to understanding both of these products. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's super important. Phosphoethanolamine.
So what is this stuff anyway? Well, according to the product info, phosphoethanolamine is something your body already makes naturally. Its main gig? Keeping your cell membranes healthy and strong. You can basically think of it as a fundamental building block for every single one of your cells.
But, and this is a big but, the version in these supplements is a little different. It's not just extracted from some plant, it's what they call a synthetic bioidentical version. All that means is it's made in a lab to be a perfect chemical copy of what your body produces. This specific form was developed using a patented process by a Dr. Gilberto Chierice, and they also make a point to say it's clean, no artificial colors, preservatives, or allergens.
All right, now let's see how this compound gets put to work in the first product. We'll start with Phosphopure, which, as you'll see, takes a very direct single-ingredient approach.
And here it is. Phosphopure is pretty much the direct application of the compound we just talked about. It's positioned as a daily supplement that's all about supporting your overall long-term well-being.
The whole idea behind Phosphopure is really straightforward. Just deliver a consistent, reliable dose of that bioidentical compound. The goal is simply to promote optimal cellular function, supporting your health from the ground up, right at that foundational level.
So what do they claim it does? Well, the stated benefits are pretty broad. We're talking about things like supporting immune balance, helping to reduce oxidative stress, and just generally contributing to your cellular health. It's really framed as an all-around cellular support system for long-term wellness.
Okay, time to switch gears completely. We're going from that lab-made bioidentical compound to something totally different, a plant with a really long history in traditional medicine called Andrographis paniculata.
This plant is native to South and Southeast Asia, and for centuries, it's been a real staple in traditional wellness practices, especially in Chinese medicine. And this is the key active ingredient in our second supplement.
And that brings us to product number 2, Andrographis Glico. Now, this is not a single ingredient supplement. No way. This is a blend, and it's designed for a very specific synergistic effect.
So, while it might look like just another supplement on the shelf, the formula is where things get really interesting. It actually combines that Andrographis plant with the same foundational compound we started with, phosphoethanolamine.
Let's break down the numbers. In each capsule, you've got 190 milligrams of Andrographis and a whopping 350 milligrams of phosphoethanolamine. So that begs the question, right? Why combine them? What is the phosphoethanolamine even doing in there?
Well, this quote from their own material gives us the answer. And this is crucial. The phosphoethanolamine isn't the main player here. It's included as what's called an excipient to enhance the bioavailability of the Andrographis. In plain English, it's there to help your body absorb and actually use the active plant compound more effectively.
So, let's map this out. You've got Andrographis as the active ingredient, doing the heavy lifting. Then you have phosphoethanolamine acting as an enhancing agent, a helper. And the result they're going for? A formula that's designed to have an enhanced effect compared to just taking Andrographis all by itself. It's a perfect example of ingredient synergy.
Now, this part is incredibly important to point out. Unlike the really broad wellness goals of Phosphopure, the info for Andrographis Glico is super specific about its use. It clearly states the product only supports conventional therapies for diabetes and prediabetes, and it says you should consult a physician. So it is absolutely not a treatment, but it is stated as a form of support.
So let's pull all this together and look at the big picture here. What we've really seen are two completely distinct strategies, two different philosophies for how to build a supplement.
On one hand, you've got Phosphopure. It's all about one core ingredient, phosphoethanolamine, and its goal is general cellular health and long-term wellness. Then, on the other hand, you have Andrographis Glico, which is a synergistic formula. It uses that same compound, but not as the star of the show. Here, it's a supporting actor,
there to boost the bioavailability of Andrographis for a very, very targeted supportive role.
You know, this whole thing really highlights a bigger trend we're seeing, moving away from just general multivitamins and toward these highly specific formulations. It kind of leaves us with a pretty cool question to think about. As we learn more and more about how these ingredients can work together, how are these kinds of synergistic formulas going to shape the future of our own personal wellness? Thanks for joining me for this breakdown. I'll catch you on the next one.